left off, and we are not finished with righteousness, but allow me to deviate just for tonight. We're going to come back to righteousness. I want to talk to you about something that I think is relevant for this time of the year. And I want to start off by asking you, and you can put in the chat first, and they would tell me, because I'm not seeing the chat from where I am. Question for you. Was 2023 a successful year for you? Was 2023 a successful year for you? Yes, no, just type it in the chat. Was it a successful year? Would you say that it was a successful year? Looking back at it, we are in the second day of 2024. And as you reflect, as you look back, and I trust that you did reflect, you did look back at your year. And even so, as you looked back, would you say it was a successful year for you? All right, type in the chat, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. The second question I want to ask is, do you consider, and it's coming from the first question, do you consider yourself a successful person? Do you consider yourself a successful person? Again, yes or no? Yes or no in the chat? Just type it in the chat. Do you consider yourself a successful person? All right, so I'm supposing that we are having some responses in the chat. Okay.
Yes, Dr. Richards.
Right. So my third question is, why do you consider yourself a successful person? Why? Why would you say? Because I expect that people would have said yes. Why would you do you consider yourself a successful person? And here's when I want to get a little bit of interaction. All right, so put up your hand. They will tell me if anybody's hand is up. Just tell me briefly, why do you consider yourself a successful person? So
Okay,
they will
Dr.
tell
Richards,
me.
we have one comment that says, because I have grown spiritually, and we have a hand up. So Sister
Okay.
Mitzi and Elder Sherry in that order.
Okay, Sister Mitzi.
Good night, everyone. Well, why do I consider myself successful or successfully? One, because I am a child of God. Two, because yes, even though I slipped up, made mistake and, thing like that, God still have his hands upon me and I'm still serving him and I'm still living for him. And that in itself is a success because outside of him, there's nothing. And that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Sister Mitzi, who's next?
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year to all. I consider myself successful because I think that I have accomplished most, if not all, the things that I set out for the last year. I know there was some room for improvement, but generally, spiritually, I've grown, and I have seen God work even when I didn't even request. Even when I didn't make requests, I saw God I saw God open up doors and send people my way without me even having anything out there, So I believe I have had a very successful year and I was successful.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Dr. Richards. We have Brother Barry's hand is up, but before that, we have a few comments. One says, God has been directing me. Another says, yes, but want to be more grounded and working on some other things. Another says, because God said to me, seek him first and all other things will be added to me. That's why I'm successful. Another says, because I depend on the leading of the Holy Spirit and his thoughts towards me is good. So, Brother Barry.
Hi, good night, everyone. Happy New Year. I believe my year was successful. Well, for just to add to what the first two person said, with that, plus also the whole fact that I am able in a position to be able to bless someone, you know, to help someone. Yeah, just to get up in the morning and be able to see that I'm a child of God, and you know, and is success to me, considering, you know what I mean, considering the way how people are falling around you, you know, dying, and you know, I believe to be alive is successful. You know, so that's why I say, well, yes, I consider that my year was successful. You know, so
Okay.
yeah, basically that is it.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Barry. Anyone else?
Yes, Dr. Richards, we have Elder Mary's hand is up and Sister Christine in that order.
Mhm.
Good night to my leaders, elders, Live Right family. I just want to thank God first for life. And 2023 has been so successful for me, physically and spiritually. I have been through so much, but by the grace of God and by the teachings that I got from my leaders, our leaders, I can't blame them for mine alone, from our leaders, that helped me to go through even when things didn't seem right and I felt like giving up. I remember the words from Kingdom Studies, what they gave us from the Bible. And this is what brought me through. And if I say anything different, I will be flying in God's face. He's done so much for me. I cannot tell a lie. But for me, it was a successful year in Jesus' name. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Somebody's mic is open. Check your mic, please.
Present. Good night, everyone. I was successful and still is. Thank God for that. Most of all, thank God for life. It's because the year before, last year, I was in hospital multiple times. And the whole of last year, I was not in no hospital bed. Thank God for that. That means I was successful in that way. I was successful because I asked God for a home, somewhere stable, a better home, because I was leaving, I did already leave the church where I was in before. I know that was not right in the eyes of God. And He put me in one. He found a home for me. And plus, I got baptized. I was able to repent of all my sin. And now He have me nurturing me, and I'm learning day by day, every day, new things, new words, new things about Him. And that make me successful. And now I'm here standing on 2024 and is yearning more to learn about my Father, and knowing that I have my spiritual father, my spiritual mother, the elders, and my brothers and sisters standing with me. And I give God praise and the honor and thanking Him for making me successful and being here still in entering strong in 2024. That is what makes me successful.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Christine. Joshua, anyone else? Joshua?
Yes, Dr. Richards, we have Sister Kimlan. But before Sister Kimlan, we have a few comments in the chat. Dr. Richards, you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, so before Sister Kimlan, we have a few comments in the chat. One says, because I trust in God and He has been seeing me through. Another says, because I've seen the hand of God in my life and He made me come out stronger than I was before. Another says, because I can acknowledge the Spirit of God is the head in my life, and as God blesses me, I can bless others. And in spite of God, and in spite of God continues to keep me with His mercy and grace, and this ministry has truly been a blessing to me. Another says, to be able to overcome the things that I never thought I could get through, all my doubts are gone. Another said, because I have seen God move in my life in a greater way, despite few challenges, I'm still standing and trusted in God and leading. So Sister Kimlan and then Sister Yini.
Good night, everyone. About the question, I initially thought about it and I said, did I have a successful year? It was progressive. And then it's like I got a little tap in the back of my head and I'm like, what are you talking about? You've come through this year. It's like I almost forgot what happened this entire year on this journey with Live Right. And I would definitely call it a success. I just think I have a twisted definition of success by certain measurables. But then when I looked at it, I mean, the people that in the family that knew the journey of this year for me, God came through in big, 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 big ways with Live Right, with me getting the job. Even in the challenges God was providing and coming even down to the end of the year, I think after the 3-day fast, I don't even understand how successful my year has been because I'm still experiencing, the grace and the glory of it. I don't even know how to understand what is happening because it's still occurring. So I am successful and residually successful. And I could safely say the one thing I'll equate it to is that the one thing I was challenged with when I gave up on the 3-day fast, I have been delivered from. And I think that is where if I needed to make an account for it, yes, I have been completely successful because I haven't said anything obscene outside of an accident once. And I had a struggle with cursing. So I think if I have to measure it, that alone made me successful. And I was delivered from a lot of things this year, especially it's like I'm in a level now I don't even know how to explain how I feel. So yes, I have had a successful 2023. I don't even know how to explain it. So yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sister Yini, then Brother Marlon.
Hi, good night, everyone. You all can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this question is very timely because this is something that I was reflecting on today, and just like life circumstances just kind of brought me to this place of reflecting. And I was journaling about something that Sister Kimlan said just now about I'll read it for you. I said, my hope/my heart was set on working for you, meaning God. And the things I thought that would bring into my life, I thought I would feel like I'd finally found my place in this world, like I would be walking in my identity. My identity was wrapped up in accomplishments versus being wrapped up in looking like Jesus. And I think my year started off with I wanted to do these things for God and I wanted to, complete certain things. And that was, I think, my measure of success. And today I was just reflecting about the fact that all of those things, because of prayer and I guess self-awareness over the year, being like, God, adjust my value system. I want to value the things that you value and the things that you don't really care about that I learned to care about because of, culture, whether it be family culture, how the world values things, make them adjustments in my heart, please, because I want to put you first and then prioritize everything else according to your will. And I think in the end, I would say I had a level of success because I grew in the fact that I think I have less of a worldly definition of success. And I, even though like in my mind, I always knew like it's about Jesus, like that's our purpose. I think I still like wanted to do more than I just wanted to like that I truly felt successful if I am like Jesus. And now I'm in the place, and I was reading Ecclesiastes, and I think it was Elder Sheldon. No, I think it was First Lady who mentioned and prayed for us to have the fear of God. And in the New King James Version, it says the whole duty of man as like the title for the passage. And then it says our duty is to fear God and keep his commandments. So that's really the essence of our purpose, more than it is about like doing and accomplishing, even if it's for God. Like he doesn't love us because or value us because we do things. He loved us before we even did anything right. Literally, that's the gospel. So I think I'm just in a place where my priorities are more straight on what success is. And I have like a better gauge, and I don't think I'm perfectly successful because I do think I could be more loving in my speech and how I speak and like watching my words more so. So I was successful, and I think there is further to go in my walk. And I now measure success by how much I love God and I love my neighbor.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Brother Marlon.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I would say that my success occurred simply because I did not want to be successful. All I wanted to do was cope, but the Lord had different plans for me. I can recall that there was a time almost 13 years ago, I prayed and prayed and prayed. I said, God, if only you will let me see again, I'll embrace all the plans you have for me and all these things and all kind of things. There's a time in your blind with a disability that you start to make deals with God. And God told me specifically that my son, my plans for you involve you being blind. Really and truly, I am successful because I believe I'm the poster boy for not walking by sight, but by faith. And I have realized, and I have come to the realization rather, that almost everything that I do is accentuated and emphasized because I can't see. When I praise and worship, there are people who have all the abilities will look at me and say, listen, if he could be so happy, why am I stressing myself out? He's happy. So if he's happy, maybe I could be happy too. And I got a lot of revelations from that, in that happiness is not a condition. Happiness is not a condition. Happiness doesn't happen because of this. Happiness and joy is a choice. You have to choose to be happy. I believe I'm also successful because my wife and I, we've gained some things and we've lost some things. And in some cases, we lost a lot. But in everything, we learned. What happens, I understand sometimes, is that we want to be immune from the stresses of life. But the Bible says, yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, not do I walk around or behind or over, is through. So I have come to the conclusion that success means that you've went through your situation and you come out shining rather than avoid it altogether. So we as followers of God should not be praying to escape certain things, but knowing that we're holding God's hand and walking with. I have reached a stage where when I'm praying, that I imagine in my mind's eye that God is right there, an actual physical being next to me, as if I'm talking to a person. It would seem to me that God is more real to me now that I can't see. And if that is success, if that's not success, I don't know what is. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Marlon. Is there anyone else? Joshua?
No, Dr. Richards, no hands.
Okay. Thank you, every single one of you who shared. I appreciate what you've shared, and I have listened to you. And I thank you, first of all, for sharing. Now, it's interesting because I asked the question, one, was 2023 a successful year? And two, do you consider yourself a successful person? That's the question you were asked. I asked you and you were answering. What I've heard from you, from most of you in most parts, it's you describing things that have happened to you that you have been blessed by. You've been blessed by, and some of you you're now walking closer with God. You've been blessed because God did certain things in your lives. And when you look back, you've come through certain things. But what really is success? What does success look like? And I think a lot of us experience things that we think is success, but it's not really success in the true sense of the word. That is why a lot of people look at somebody maybe with a big house and a car, big car or cars. You have a senior position on a job, and they say, hey, that's a successful man, but that's a successful woman. Or you see somebody having a big business, and they say that's a successful businessman. You see people with plenty money. If they can afford anything, I say that's a successful person. But what does success really look like? What is really success? Let me give you a definition of the word success. Success is the completion of an undertaking, having achieved the desired result. Let me say it again. Success is the completion of an undertaking or task, having achieved the desired result. Now, when you look at that, you would realize now that success would mean different things to different people because it would depend on the undertaking or the task that they were involved in. And remember, success is to complete that task, to complete that undertaking, achieving the result that you desired. So you're going after something, and then you get it. And when you get it, you are successful. Now, a lot of what you have described are good things. The grace of God in your life, the blessings of God. And those are good things. But they are all, and I'm saying, hear what I'm saying, they are not all success. Now, let me select my word. Don't hear what I'm not saying. What you have described are good things happening in your life. Excellent things, desirable things, things that have made you a better person. But what I'm asking is, have you achieved success? In order to achieve success, you have to come to the end of the thing. It has to be that thing that you were going after, and you have accomplished that thing. So it is related to the undertaking, the task, or the purpose for which you're doing something. So let me ask this question. Having understood that, let me ask you this question. If I enter a race to win, of course, people enter a race to win, and I didn't win, was I successful? Yes or no? Just quickly type in the chat. Was I successful? I enter a race and I want to win the race, but I didn't win. Was I successful? I'm expecting that you'll be saying no. I'm expecting. Because the purpose for entering the race was to win it. That was, when I came to the end of the race, I did not achieve the desired result. So I was not successful. But let me ask you this then. If I enter a race to win and I placed second, was I successful? I want to hear you. If I enter a race to win and I placed second, was I successful? I want some, Joshua, tell me, I want to choose one person who said no and one person who said yes. Joshua. And I want you to explain why.
Okay.
One person who said no and one person who said yes. I don't know who said what.
Okay, Dr. Richards. So out of the people who said no, I'll pick someone on random, Sister Carlene. So Sister Carlene says no, and I'm seeing Sister Janet Thomas says yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Sister
my
Carlene.
apologies. All right, you should be able to unmute now.
Hi, good night, family. I chose no because everyone enters a race to win, not to come second or third. If you didn't win, then you didn't accomplish your goal that you set out.
Okay.
That's why I said no.
Thank you. And who's the other person?
Sister Janet Thomas.
I said good night, everyone. Happy New Year. I
Happy
said
New Year.
yes, because even though you did not win, the point is you did enter and expected to win, although you did not win. The point is you entered.
Okay. Thank you. Now let me go back to the definition of success. The completion of an undertaking having achieved the desired result. The completion of an undertaking or a task having achieved the desired result. What was the desired result in this race? For me to come first.
To win.
To win.
Yeah.
And if I did not win, then I cannot be successful. I am not successful because the desired result was for me to win.
Yeah.
All right?
So true.
Now, let me ask another question. And I want you to listen to this carefully. If I enter a race and the purpose of my entering was to lose, but I win, am I successful? I win the race. Am I successful? Talk to me, people.
No.
No?
No, because the desired result was to lose and you ended up winning.
Okay. So the desired result was to lose and end up winning. What? Anybody says yes? And I would like to hear why. Did anybody say yes, Joshua?
I'm seeing so far that Paul says no.
Paul says no. Okay. So if everybody says no, if I enter a race to lose and I win, then I am not successful. It means you now understand what success is. Success is not about being first. Success is not about having a big house. Success is not about having a good job. Success is, what is your purpose? That's what success is about. Have I completed the task that has been assigned to me? Achieving the desired result. In the case where I entered the race to lose, I did not, and I won it, I did not achieve the desired result. So I was not successful, even though I won. So success is relative. What do I mean by relative? It is related to your purpose. If you entered into the race and your job was to lose the race and you won it, then you did not fulfill your purpose. So you're not successful. And while everybody out there might be cheering you and saying, yeah, put you on the podium and give you a gold medal, they see you as successful. But you would know, because that is not what you wanted to accomplish. Now, I know it's a weird kind of analogy or example because who enters a race to lose? But I'm using it. I am using it to explain to you what success is. In order to be successful, you must have a goal in mind. You must know what you want to accomplish. So when I ask you, was 2023 a successful year? My question now to you is, what did you want to accomplish in 2023 that you accomplished and you're now saying that I was successful? Did you at the beginning of the year say, listen, this is what I want to accomplish in 2023. This is what I want to do. And when you've come to the end of the year, you look at what it is and you see that you accomplish it. That's the only time you can say, yes, I was successful. You might have accomplished other things, and we will talk about that. Because success is not just one thing. You may have successes along the way because you may have different goals along the way. In January, you want to do this, February, and you might have accomplished those things. But your purpose, if you are to measure whether or not you are successful, you must understand what your task is, what the undertaking is, what the purpose is. If you don't understand, then you will never be successful. So again, success is not always about coming first. Success is not always being the best. And we have to understand that as parents. Remember, we talk about exasperating the children. Your child doesn't have to be the best to be successful. You don't have to be the best to be successful. I think I shared this before, and I want to share it again. A certain place I used to work many, many years ago. Yes, I know I shared it before, but some of you may not have heard it. I used to work in this place many years ago, and I was a supervisor, assistant manager. There was one manager. It wasn't a big organization. And one of the things that God has placed in my heart since I was small was always to teach. I love to teach. And it doesn't have to be in a formal setting like this for me to teach. Every day, I use the opportunity to pass on something to others. It gives me a sense of accomplishment, and I understand that is my purpose here on this earth. And I remember that we had a manager. When the manager was on vacation and was not there, I was second in command, so I would have been the acting manager. Then there was this young man who was my junior. I was his supervisor. And he started to study, do some overseas courses and whatnot. And they elevated him, even though I was still his supervisor. But what happened is that there was myself, this young man, and another lady who was another supervisor. And what they used to do after a particular time, because when the manager was not there on vacation, I would be the acting manager. And after a particular time, because this person was studying, they said, listen, we have to reward him because he was bringing in his qualifications or whatnot whenever he passed his exam. So what they started to do was they started to rotate the acting between the three of us. And the other lady, she said she's not able with that position because it was the job itself was very, very difficult. So it was between myself and him. I imagine he's my junior, but I taught him. I poured into him. I told him, listen, when you are acting as a manager, this is what you do. This is how you do it. And I taught him everything that I knew. And people said I was stupid. They actually said, they didn't say to my face, but I heard it was said that I was stupid. Imagine that. So what if the manager retires or resigns or what happened? You're going to let him come and take your place, get him the manager job before you? But they could not understand that my purpose was to pour into him and everybody else, because I used to teach formally and informally. Sometimes I have a meeting with my staff and we would go through things. I used to teach them even English, grammar, and all of that. Close the office at a particular time, and I just love to do that. And the thought, and the people who said that I'm talking about were members of the board of directors of the organization, because they knew. And they said, I heard them, people told me they were talking and said, boy, Richie, they used to call me, well, in that thing, it used to be formal, it used to say Mr. Richards. But for some of them, the members of the board, they used to call me Richie. Hey, Richie real stupid, boy. He go make that man come and because the man studying and thing, and plus the man studying and he teaching him what to do. And they could not understand. My purpose was to teach. My purpose was to elevate. My purpose was to make sure not just him, but everybody understood your job. I used to get all kind of information and bring for them and try to inculcate all these things into them. And people thought I was foolish, but I was accomplishing purpose. And when you accomplish purpose, that is how you measure your success. Because as far as they're concerned, success was, in that instant, whoever got the manager's position. That was not on my radar. My radar was, what can I do to elevate him? What can I do to make him better? Everything that I know, I want to teach him. And for those of us who teach, you will understand what I'm saying. There's a story, a movie called An Officer and a Gentleman. I don't know how many of you have seen that movie, where the sergeant, when the new recruits came, he had to train them. And he roughed them up. He carried them through, I don't remember, I think it's about 13 weeks, I'm not sure, of rigorous training. He would curse them. He would make them do all kind of ungodly things to toughen them up. He even had a fight with one of them. And in the movie, if you couldn't make it, there was this bell. If you wanted to quit, you just go and ring the bell and you were out. But he did all kind of, listen, he really made their life a living hell. And at the end of let's say it was 13 weeks, at the end of the 13 weeks, they graduated as officers, lieutenants, and he remained a sergeant. And you would think, well, if he was training them and doing all that, then he should be an officer. He should remain senior to them. But that's not the way it works. His purpose, his job was to make officers, to create officers, to ensure that the people who became officers, that they really deserved it because of what he put them through. And in the end, when they graduated, he had to salute them and call them sir. What am I trying to say? He was successful because he produced officers, even though in the end, they ended up senior to him. But he produced officers, and he remained a sergeant while he had to salute them and call them sir. He was successful. That is the definition of success, because he did what he was supposed to do. He completed his task. He completed his purpose. That is what success is. Successness doesn't mean that now, I am bigger than you and you have to call me yes sir, yes ma'am, or Dr. Richards or whatever. That's not success. Success doesn't look like that. If you want to measure your success, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing? What am I supposed to accomplish? And when you accomplish it, then you are successful. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. Because too often, we look at people and call them successful because of what they have, whether it's their position or material things. We call people successful. And we look at ourselves as failures because we don't have what they have. In the job that I was there, when this young man, and he was much younger than me, was acting as manager, and the manager used to take long, If it was 1 day or two, I would be the acting manager. But if the manager goes on leave for a month, when it was his turn to be the manager, I had to listen to him. I had to take instruction from him. Whatever whatever he told me to do or instructed me to do, I had to do it. Even though when the time came, he had to go back down to his substantive post and I was still his, supervisor. But during that period, and it didn't faze me. And people couldn't understand, even my co-workers couldn't understand how it is that you let this man tell you what to do. And he didn't used to treat me bad or anything, but the point is how it is that you take an instruction from this person, because I understand the concept of success. And when I look at him and I see him performing, I smile, because I said, yes, Lord, I have done what I'm supposed to do. And a lot of us who are teachers, listen, everybody on this earth, every great man, no matter how skilled you are, you had to have had a teacher. All the prime ministers and presidents and whoever it is, somebody taught them. And they have been elevated now above that person. And the person may still be a teacher or retired teacher. Does that make them any less? No. Does that make them less successful? No. They were successful in creating this person. When I say creating, you know what I mean? They were successful in what they did as teachers, to teach this person, to inculcate them into them values and whatever learning, whatever subject areas. That is what success is. Success is not about having more. Remember the widow who, when everybody was putting in all kind of money, all she had is one mite? And she gave all, Jesus said she gave all that she had. That's success. Success is not about the big things. Some of us may not stand up on a platform and preach to thousands and hundreds of thousands and tens of people, thousands of people like T.D. Jakes or Hagee or on them. But if God send you to one person, or God send you in that place to work and there are people there that God wants you to reach, then you will be successful if you reach them. Success has to do with what God has assigned you to do. What is the undertaking? What is the task? What is the purpose? That is how you measure your success. Not necessarily by what you gain and what came out of it, but what came out of it in relation to what was supposed to come out, or what you would have achieved, what is the desired result. So if I tell you, I come by you and I say, I'm thirsty, could I get a glass of water? And you go in your fridge or wherever and you take out some champagne, some sparkling, expensive champagne, and give to me, say, I want to honor you with this, drink the champagne. I might drink it, but you didn't succeed because you didn't do what I asked you to do. You didn't give me what I wanted. You gave me something great that people would think, wow, you're drinking champagne. What a fantastic thing. But you did not give me what I asked for. All I wanted was water. Your task was to bring me water, not what you think I would want, or not what you think would honor me. Your task was to bring me water. And it's the same thing we do with God. Sometimes God tells us to do some simple thing, but we're too simple for us. So we want to do the big thing. We want to do this and we want to do that. And you might accomplish whatever you want to do, but you would have failed because you did not complete the undertaking or the task that was assigned to you. We're going to stop here for tonight. Are there any questions, anybody? No? So I want you to understand, and I want you to think again as you go tonight. Look back at 2023. Was it a successful year? And the second question is, are you a successful person? The same two questions I asked before, I want you to ponder them. Was 2023 a successful year for me? I'm not asking you if you did this and you get that and that's not what I'm asking you, know. Because I can ask you, what did you accomplish in 2020? What did you get me? You might have gotten a new car and you might have moved into a place. My question, I didn't ask you that. My question is, was it a successful year? Was it a successful year? All right, so we're going to leave it here tonight and pick it up tomorrow, God's willing. Quickly, anybody has any questions? Joshua, you let me know. Let me switch screens here.
We have Brother Barry's hand is up.
Yes, I'm seeing Brother Barry's hand. Brother Barry.
Hi, good night. I'm not someone that sets, New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. So I was wondering if you don't like per se set resolutions for the New Year. Would you, like how we on this topic here? How I trying to put it, boy? Would it be
how you would measure your success? Is that what you're asking?
how you'd measure your success?
Well,
yeah.
you see, New Year's resolution is a different thing. Eh? I resolve to do this. I resolve to lose weight. I'm not talking about that. As a child of God, and this is the point I was coming to make. Let me make it now. As a child of God, you need to sit down and say, God, what do you want of me? What do you want of me, Lord? And allow the Lord to speak to you. I'm not talking about saying, no, I'm writing resolution. I want to make $1 million by the end. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Even though you can't do that, I have nothing with that. We are talking about every child of God. You can't just go along just like that and hoping that, that at the end, sorry, I just got distracted here. Yeah. You can't just go along. You need to think. And that's what I want you to do at the beginning of the year. That's why we're doing this topic. I want you to think, what does God require of me for 2024? Maybe we should have done that in 2023. It would have rhymed. What does God require of me in 2023? Or maybe I should say, what is God asking me for in 2024 now? That's the same word. Anyway, the point is, what I want you to do now is look back at 2023 and see, because you must know. And let me take that back. You should know what it is you were supposed to accomplish in 2023. If you don't, then you cannot measure your success. You cannot say I was successful if you didn't know what you were supposed to accomplish. But let's measure our success in 2024. So you ask God, God, what do you require of me in 2024? One of the things we'll be talking about after this is purpose, to understand your purpose. So sit down now, go before God, and I'm asking you to go before God and say, God, what do you want of me in this year, 2024? And then we will talk about how we break it down, how we put it together. We'll talk about all of that. But this is what I want you to do now. Go back on the same two questions. Was 2023 a successful year? Am I a successful person? And God, what do you require of me in 2024? So that at the end I can measure to see if I was successful or not. Yeah, we're going over the time. So thank you so much. God bless you. We'll be back tomorrow evening at the same time, of course. 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, open the Zoom. 8 o'clock, we start with another Kingdom study. Have a wonderful night. I love you. I love you, First Lady, or Joshua.